Hello, Taurus. Welcome. Thank you for being here. This is going to be a general read from what we're dealing with. Of course, everything may not resonate, so take what does and leave the rest. And for more tarot readings after this, please check out my wife's channel at Val53 Tarot. She's review as well. Thank you. All right, let's see what's going on. I've been seeing that a lot lately. Goodness. Jeez, crosswise. Oh my goodness, how do you go from that to that? How do you go from that to that? You're kind of snarky. You're kind of snarky, crosswatcher. Like, I don't care. Okay. They don't care. Snarky. It makes sense. There's the Five of Cups. Okay, so let's just kind of jump into this and we'll just walk through it. Taurus. Right away, right out the gate, they just present Three of Swords. They're not having a good time. Specifically between the two of you. I don't know what this is. There's this energy where it just feels as if things are sinking. And I mean things are just sinking. Emotionally, mentally, a little bit kind of like quicksand. It's just like, great. What is this sinking feeling? Energetically, even though this is very painful and difficult, yes, the way they're kind of responding to this is a little interesting. They do know they need some time and some space to kind of just be okay, at least enough to kind of like keep going, because that's the thing. They're not giving up. It's just that is a deeply painful situation where they feel like their hands are tied and there's nothing they can do about it. And it is a very cold energy. And I mean very, very cold energy. But it makes sense. It's like winter. It just feels like very wintry energy. You know, they think about everything between the two of them, and they're like, I just have no idea. I just have no idea. I just don't know. They still are in the process of working through this. Ooh, look at that energy. What is that about? Very interesting. I don't get that. Why does it show up like that? I see what you're saying, Taurus. Touche, by the way, how you did that. I forget what sign that was. I was talking about the movie Three Kings. I forget what movie or what sign that was. It's a good movie. Um, about brotherhood, military movie where they're out in the desert and they're like hauling. Jeez Louise, they're hauling a shit ton of gold out of like these vaults or bunkers or something. Good movie. Jeez. Um. Wow. 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 Different today. Very different today. I'm not saying they're playing games, Taurus. I'm just saying they do understand and emphasize. I have to step my game up. I have to step my shit up. I don't know in what way that is, but I mean, touche, Crosswatch. I will give you that. Credit where credit is due. I do see that. Damn. They're like, in other words, they're like, I'm fighting for my life here, but not just my own, Taurus. I'm fighting for you. I'm fighting for us. I'm fighting for what we have created between us. I'm fighting for everything that's on the line. Um, in other words, since we're on the topic of movies, and once again, that same movie, good movie, in the trenches. They feel like they're just in the trenches, and it is just. They know why they're doing it. That's the thing. They understand why they're doing everything. They're like, I just have to kind of unfortunately grin and bear it. My what to bear, Crosswatcher, my what to bear. Yeah, they just want to get through this. What's the term? Plow through. They just want to plow through, but so they can't. It's sort of very like tedious, and there's a lot to go over. There's a lot to kind of dissect. There's a lot to re-go over and re-go over and re-go over and double check, triple check. Um, mental. It's a lot of mental. So, like I said, that world does take place. It's just that there's so much that needs to be. Jeez, what's the mission? What is the overall mission, Crosswatcher? You're saying everything. In other words, you got a job to do, and you're just doing it. Uh, Excuse me. I honestly am like, whatever. Um, I mean, Crosswatcher, you know all this already. I'm a little curious. If we can kind of, hit the fast forward button. What do you want to know? What do you want to know? You know all this already. I know that. You know all this already. Unless you just want Taurus to know about it. Like you just want me to relay the information to Taurus so that Taurus, in quotes, understands where you're coming from, cross-watcher, in quotes. Cornelius. In Project Mayhem, we have no names. Huh. Meaning what? Hey now. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh my goodness gracious. Cross-watcher. Touche. How did you do that? Touche. Ain't that something? One moment. No shit. There's only one, once again, it's the same thing. There's only one reason why this energy would show up the way it does. Only one reason. In other words, it's sort of like, how bad does the situation or the circumstances has to get to where it's like, are you ready to genuinely open your eyes yet? Are you really ready? I think, in other words, are you like really open to receive that answer? Are you really open to receive that answer? Wow. Let's see. I've seen that now twice today. The other time it was flipped. Interesting. Interesting. Well, yeah, I got that. Um, Interesting. But that energy, though, that energy, Crosswatcher, I give this example all the time. I gave it to Sagittarius and Aries Saturday about the coyote and the roadrunner. The coyote is zipping by, moving so fast that he doesn't even realize he just ran himself off the cliff. Meanwhile, the roadrunner, being as fast as they are, is like, and too slow. This energy of, the movie Cars, I Am Speed, or was it Lightning McQueen? That's what that devil energy is all about. That's tunnel vision. That is tunnel vision. That is fascinating. It's sort of like saying, for example, it makes me think of like a jet. Pilots, when they're going Mach what Mach 1, 2, 3, I forget where they begin to black out, what speed they begin to black out, but it's like they're going so fast through the air in these jets that all of us, that's why they have the mask, the helmet and the mask, which is pretty cool. They're going at such high speeds that they start getting that warp speed, that tunnel vision, the blur. And before you know it, when they're going so fast, you just see everything, like the light just dimming and closing in on them. And they're just, they're blacking out in the. That's what that feels like. Like warp speed, like you're in your seat and you're just. But while you're going through warp speed, Crosswatcher, you're starting to black out. That's what that's about. That is interesting. That is very interesting. In other words, you're moving in the wrong direction. That's the answer, Crosswatcher. You're moving in the wrong direction. You're moving incorrectly. You're moving incorrectly. But what's interesting is you have the self-awareness to know you don't know how to do the other way. Learn. Don't play stupid with me. Learn. You tell me, you show me this much intelligence and this much self-awareness, but you then also simultaneously, I don't know how. Bullshit. I don't fucking buy it. I don't buy it. You saying and telling me I don't know how is bullshit. It's fluff. How about this? I'll throw it back in your court. Why don't you want to learn? You're saying you don't know how, you can't. Why aren't you trying? And other than it just is what it is and you're just fixed about it and stuck, why aren't you trying? There's an energy about speed. There's nothing wrong with speed. But I'm sure, as you know, if a dragster's going down the strip at 330 miles an hour, how fast that engine, it just burns up. And done. Rebuild. It's no longer, now me and the mad scientist have to restore the piston rings you fried. No. Now me and the guys got to tear apart the entire engine and replace every single part. There's a difference. There's a difference. There's a tower. The entire engine, the entire system is fried and cooked because the shit was burning so hot. Warp speed, our fucking engines are done. There's no stabilizer. Fascinating topic, by the way. There's no stabilizer in this whole thing. It's like either 0 or 100, and it's sort of like what you're emphasizing is either there's no in between, and because there's no in between, that's exactly why you're just burning everything. Burning through everything. Is that a song? I'm burning for you. You're funny. Even gold burns. Even gold burns. That's what you're saying. That's the whole deck crosswatcher. Usually I saw this energy in Leo. But you're emphasizing I will burn through every fucking penny for you, Taurus. Remember, in quotes. I'll burn through every penny for you, Taurus. I will give you everything. Yeah. They're serious. That's the thing. They are serious. It's just, what are we doing this weekend? Are we still, are the plans still on for this weekend? No. Why not? I burned through the account last night. What the fuck are we gonna do this weekend? We'll figure it out. What? What is that saying? Don't write checks your ass can't cash. Sacrificing tomorrow for today. Let's not do that. Let's not do that for the risk of feeling like you'll never get that moment back. Understandable. YOLO. At the same time, long game, Crosswatcher, long game. Not the drag strip. Goodbye.